Hello everyone and welcome back to the Green Man channel. As I continue my countdown of my top 10 songs of 2025, we have of course just done numbers 10 down to number 6, and now I'm doing numbers 5 to 1, and this is truly, for me personally, the creme de la creme of the year. These 5 songs could all be Song of the Year, and I have replayed these a lot since I heard each one of these songs, and they are in rotation almost whenever I need something, whenever I need a lift. One of these songs can probably bring me out of a bit of a stupor, or if I'm feeling slightly downcast in mood, I can pretty much rely on one of these top 5 tracks to bring me out of that. Just some really great music here, and of course this is within my kind of palette of my musical tastes, so even though I love these, you might not love these. But I say, if you follow my channel and you like some of what I'm into, there's a good chance that you will enjoy what is on offer from these 5 songs. And, I do like my big sounding epics. I love my melodic songs. There are certain patterns in what I really enjoy, and you will probably find that here in these top 5 songs. So first up at number 5 is Xanius and the title track of her latest album, Cataclysm. And what a fantastic song this one is. I love the sort of the synth movements in the song. Xanius, I think, as I've said, a lot of times before, recently, certainly this year on the channel, she has a great voice, I think, a really authentic and striking singing voice, which she puts to great use in that chorus here. And my favourite part of this song is probably, I think it's the last chorus. The way specifically that she sings "the world can't touch us here," and on the word "here," she kind of just extends it for longer, and it's absolutely like, oh, that for me is like some vocal perfection there from Xanius, the way she sings that specific part. But I love this song. I love its sound. It's very rousing. It's very kind of emotive and beautiful within Xanius's own kind of dark wave style. Coming in next at number 4, I've gone for Astronoid's song Vicenium, a later track in their recent Stargod album. Yes, I could have chosen the title song as well. This was kind of in a contest with that for which one of these Astronoid songs I would choose, because I love them almost both as much as the other. But Vicenium, I really like the way that this one introduces the synth parts. I love, again, the chorus of this one that Brett Boland sings, where he goes quite high. When he goes, "When you're in so deep," and then he gets really high, and then there's a little pause. There's that really clever little pause, and then he comes down and goes lower, and you kind of get that da 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 da. I just think that is just wonderful stuff from Astronoid here. As I will repeat, as I said in my Albums of the Year video, this whole album is like an 80s fever dream, and I feel like this one song is particularly an 80s pop fever dream at play from Astronoid. That's Vicenium by Astronoid coming in at number 4. Now, next up at number 3, now, a band that didn't make my year-end list, which is very surprising. I think this was one of my most anticipated albums of 2025. That was Elverti's Armv, and this is the song Arven. I'm not quite sure I'm saying that quite correctly. Interestingly, I found a Reddit thread where everyone was really dissing this track, and I'm thinking, well, obviously heard a different song here. I think this song was absolutely fantastic. Its use of the different folk elements that Elverti has, but also it allowed Fabienne the space to really launch into all of her vocal moments, and I think they're spectacular. I don't care if they sound like Illumishade on this track and you don't like Illumishade. I love Illumishade, and I thought this track absolutely raised the roof, brought the house down, so to speak, with how good for me this was. I absolutely have no hesitation in saying that this could have been my song of the year at one point, but for the next 2 songs on my list, which came a bit later on, or very late in the year actually, really. But this particular song, I think, is bringing out the very best of Elverti and Illumishade. Fabienne Erny and Jonas Wolf of Illumishade's contributions in this song are, for me, all real highlights of the track. And I love the hurdy-gurdy solo part in it as well, the way that's brought into the bridge. And it's just massive. Also, the teasing of that guitar riff as well is another part that is a brilliant moment in this Elverti song. So Arven by Elverti, whether the Elverti folk purists like this choice or not, I don't really care. I say stuff them. I think this is an epic song from Elverti. And why? Why wasn't the rest of the album up to this standard for me? Bit of a disappointment when you've got a song as good as this, but the rest of the album is kind of a bit below, quite well, for me, not really reaching the heights that Arven reached. I think it was a bit of a shame for me, to be honest, but, you know, still a reasonably good album. But a track like this really raised my expectations of the album, as this was an advanced single. Next up at number 2, I've gone for Stella Donnelly's wonderfully beautiful, soulful, fantastically written and delivered track, Please Everyone, which I also think carries a great deal of personal meaning for her. Also, it's very relatable, the way, you know, she's trying, you know, she's singing about how, you know, she's trying to climb onto someone's shoulder to please them, and it's kind of got this very personal resonance and emotional resonance about this track. And there is just vocal harmonies here. There's this kind of very subtle vocal harmony, I feel like, at playing this song, and the way that comes in is frankly just, I've run out of words. I've had to use so many words now. I'm running out of words for these videos, but it is just, I've used stunning too much. I've used incredible too much. I'm out of superlatives here. Just tell me a word that works. Go listen to Stella Donnelly's Please Everyone, and just tell me a word that you think that describes that song well. Hopefully a nice word. Hopefully you won't hate the song, but I guess it is, you know, it's very much a singer-songwriter, personal, but yeah, beautifully delivered song ultimately from Stella Donnelly here with Please Everyone. I think it is, for me, a standout from my album of the year as well. I think there's quite a few really good songs on this record, hence why it was also my album of the year in a pretty strong year. Now, we move on to my number 1, which was number 8 on my albums of the year list, or at least the artist was at number 8, and this song is my choice for song of the year. This is Anna von Hauswolf's The Iconoclast. And I did think this was the title track, but it's like the album's called Iconoclasts. This is called The Iconoclast, but it certainly has the feel and the epicness of a title song, does this one from Anna von Hauswolf. I mean, I think her writing, her lyricism are great, but the music lives up to every ounce of that lyricism as well, with some spectacular, epic, high vocal moments from Miss Anna von Hauswolf here. It's just monumental the way she delivers this piece, but also, I think, weirdly, the favourite part of my track is like the sort of final act of this. So it's like a third act of the song where she's sort of winding the track down, and it goes all haunting and sad and beautiful, particularly when she sings this: "Can I protect you, godly creation, and denounce everything I call mine?" I mean, also mind-blowing lyrics. It's just a gorgeous way to finish off a really otherwise spectacular epic songs, using lots of swelling instrumentation as well as her own unique but quite emotionally piercing voice in this track. And that's why Anna von Hauswolf's The Iconoclasts is my song of the year. Not my album of the year, that album, but it came pretty close, I guess, as well. Had other songs been of this standard, there is no doubt that Anna von Hauswolf could have grabbed that year-end spot of the AOTY for the Green Man of 2025. But as it is, this is my song of the year. If you don't listen to the rest of that record, maybe listen to The Iconoclast. I don't think you'll regret it one bit, at least if you're a sad boy like me, maybe. Anyway, from me, until the next time on the Green Man channel, it is bye for now.